Good day. I have a resource here I'd like to show you. This is a free resource from edenics.org. In the description you can find a link to the website. And here I have open chapter 1 in Genesis, verse 1. And on every word that I click, it'll bring up the definition. And it brings a literal definition along with if I click and hold on to it and give a long click, I can pull up a dictionary. And not only that, on the bottom, it connects each of the Hebrew letters to the English letters by color. Okay? So verse 1 reads, Bereshis bara Elohim. In the beginning, he created, but he is in parentheses, because it's implied. Elohim means God. Ace is an object identifier. So it's Hashamayim, the heavens. Ve'es, and you have the object identifier, Haaretz, and the earth. Ve'haaretz, next verse, right? Here as when the earth. Eretz is earth, land, country, ground. Now Aleph is connected to the EA, the Resh is to the R, and the Tzadik to the TH. Earth, you can see how it's kind of the same word. Earth, Eretz, Earth. When the earth, it was, Haisa, it was, Soihu, desolate, Vavayhu, and void. V'choshech, and darkness was, Al Pinei, on the surface of. Sahaim is deep. The Ruach, and the spirit of. Elohim is God. Merachefes was hovering. Al Pinei, on the surface of. Hamayim, the water. Vayomer, and he said, Elohim, God. So it would be Vayomer Elohim, and he, God, said. But it can also be, and he said, God. He said, what did he say? He said God. But it's not the pshat way of reading, for sure not. Yehi or. Let there be light. Vayehi, and it was, or, light. Okay, that's 3 verses. Now what else do we have here? We also have a grammar guide that I found very useful. So if you go to the grammar guide, we can read from general rules. There is no word for a in here. A cat. There's no word for a cat. You would just have cat. Verbs can become a noun and vice versa by changing its vowels. Verbs also become nouns by adding the letter mem as its prefix. Verbs can also become nouns by adding I don't know what that is, by adding something after the second root letter and a kamatz followed by a hey attached to the end of the word. Most Hebrew roots are triliteral, 3-letter. There are opposing views that say Hebrew's foundation is biliteral, 2-letter. Rashi and others in France allowed biliteral and triliteral roots. In some instances, they even allowed uniliteral 1-letter verb roots. Most grammarians in Spain accepted only 3-letter roots. Most roots in this app have been adapted from Radak's Sefer HaShorashim, the Book of Roots, by Rav David Kimchi, Radak, as the primary source. It appears that most roots follow Radak in Imre Madrich by Rabbi Edelman, and it became a major source that was heavily relied upon in this app. Most other possible roots are from Matisyahu Clark's book, Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew. Okay. Thought that was helpful. Alright, what is a prenominal suffix? So, if you add any of these letters to any root, so for example, here we have the 3-letter root, Samach, Vav, Samach. 66, 60, right? 60 for Samach, 6 for Vav, and then 60 for Samach. Samach, Vav, Samach, Sus. It means horse. If you were to add the letter Yud, which is 10, right? If you add the letter Yud at the end of the word, and now it's instead of Sus, it's Susi, with the Yud at the end, the Y at the end, that is mine, my horse, right? What if it's a Chaf at the end? Suscha, your horse, in the masculine. If I have the same letters, but I change the dotting on the bottom, now it's not Suscha, it's Suseich. That's your feminine. In the feminine form, it's yours, but it's feminine. If I add a vav at the end, susai, it becomes his. Susa becomes hers, her horse. Our horse would be a nun and a vav at the end. Suseinu, our horse. Your horse, but masculine and plural and masculine, is suschem. You had a chaf and a mem at the end. If you add a chaf and a nun at the end, it's still plural, but now it's plural feminine. Their horse, so third person, right? Third person male. So their horse, their being third person and plural and masculine, right? Susam. So you had a mem. A kamatz before the mem, and then the final letter would be a mem. But the letter before the mem gets a kamatz, if you can see there. And the same thing, but instead with a nun, would make it feminine, plural, third person. All right. Now let's do suffixes. Oh, we just did suffixes also. So what's the difference? This is pronominal suffixes, and this is pronominal suffixes. Well, that's singular, and this is plural. I don't know. Let's see. Susai, my horse. Susecha, your horse. Second person masculine, I think. Susayech, your, in female. Oh, these are horses. This is plural. Ah, okay. You get it? Now this is plural, not on the person, but plural on the object. Get it? What if you want to make it plural on the object, not on the person? Not their horse, plural there, but their horse is, a plural on the object, you see? So, susai. It's not susi. Before we had susi. The top one here is susi. It's my single horse. But what if I want to say my plural horses? So now it's susai. It's the same letter at the end, but the previous letter would have a different nekuda. Right before the yud on my horses would be a patach on the last letter, and then the yud. If I want to just say my single horse, so then we would have a chirik on the previous letter, and then a yud. All right? Your horses, susecha. It's segol, and then a chaf. Susayich, your horses, female. His horses, susav. Her horses, suseha. Our horses, suseinu. Your horses, in the masculine, susechem. Your horses, in the female, susechen. Their horses, susehem. And now again, their horses, but in the female, and there's a typo here, it should be susehen, like you see on the left where they give you the yud hey nun. That's correct, but they made a typo here. They meant susehen with a nun at the end. Okay. Other suffixes. So, as a suffix hey denotes direction or motion towards a place. So Mitzrayim is a place. It's Egypt, right? Mitzrayma means towards Egypt. Okay, nun vav at the end also can mean him, his, it. So they don't give examples, and I don't know. But you see there's other suffixes that we have. Nun yud, hey vav, hey mem, nun, vav nun, hey, with a kamatz before, right? Okay, not every construct case should have the. Construct, state, or smichus, support, is when two nouns are together, adjacent, they equal. The blank of blank. Example, tzitzis hakanaf, the fringes of the corner. If noun ends in hey with the kamatz before that, then the kamatz hey changes to taf. Example, Torah Moshe, the Torah of Moses, Normally it's Torah, but instead of saying the Torah of Moses, we say Torahs Moshe. You change the hey to the tuf. If the noun ends in yud mem, then its ending changes to a tzere followed by a yud. Example, kanfe begadim. Normally you would say kinafayim. Now you can drop the mem and change the nekudos. Instead of kinafayim, it's kanfe begadim. All other forms not ending with the above mentioned do not change in the smichos. Example, melech ha'olam. It stays melech. Okay. Gender and number. So I guess normally if there's nothing, if there's no suffix, it's just masculine singular. So sus, a single horse in the masculine way of talking. If you change the last nekuda on the last letter into a kamatz and then add a hey, it becomes, instead of sus, it's susa. So now it's female. Susim is masculine plural. Susais is female plural. Yodayim says it's male or female, noun dual form. Okay. Okay. Here we're changing, I think, the vowel points in some cases. Looks like that's what it's saying. And you have, right, shemar means to do. Shimri means to do for a female. Shimru is do for the plural. Shmarna is also for the plural, but it's female. Interesting. Depending on who you're talking to, you're going to have different suffixes or prefixes. That's how we know. First, we establish what's the root. Once you know what the root is, you kind of get an idea of what's going on. But once you know the prefixes and the suffixes, you get who's being addressed and who's addressing. Okay, we see as a prefix, if it's a hey with a patach, a chataf patach, it's not a regular patach, it's a chataf patach. That's the patach is the line, and the chataf before the patach is those two dots. That is used to indicate a question. How do you know if it's a question? Again, it's all in the nekudot. It's all in the nekudot. Let's make l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shakol nir b'dvarim. Okay. Yishmar means he will keep. But if I add a vav, vayishmar, it means he kept. It changes the tense. The same word. We're not changing the nekudot. We're just adding a letter, and the tense changes from future tense to past tense. Again, shamar is he kept, but vishamar with a vav in the beginning, it means he will keep, future. Okay, I mean, the technicalities are a little hard for me, but I think this is very important for me, for you, for everyone. These are very important studies. Okay, this is just a chart of how to... Okay, shamar is the root. You see the three-letter root in this whole chart is shin, mem, resh. Shin, mem, resh is to guard or watch or keep. So here it's translated as keep. So if we start in the top right column, we have ani, which is I. So how would you say I keep? You would say ani shomer, I keep. Or alternatively, if you're a girl speaking, a girl would say ani shomeres. If it was in the past tense, it's ani shamarti. And in the future, it's eshmar. Right? And now if it's you, it's ata shomer, or ata shamarta, or ata tishmor. Or if it's a female that we're addressing to, it's at shomeres, at shamarta, at tishmeri. Interesting. I want you to keep in mind these are the rules of the biblical Hebrew. Modern Hebrew may or may not differ. This is biblical Hebrew rules. Thank you for joining. I hope you will use this resource, edenics.org, edenics.org. It's a great, great resource. They've got this app. There might be others there. Very, very good stuff. May we all merit to learn and to understand and to appreciate the biblical Hebrew. Redemption will come through the Hebrew language. It's the secret. It's the code. The letters. One of the first commandments that is applicable to a person, I don't mean when we're born. When we're born, one of the first commandments for a male would be to be circumcised, even though the commandment's not necessarily on the child until he's of age, if his father didn't do it for him, or the community didn't do it for him. But one of the first you would do for a male, one of the first mitzvot is you would circumcise your male. But I mean when you wake up in the morning, how many things are you doing? So a Jew wakes up in the morning, we give thanks. The first thing, even before you wash your hands. Why do we wash our hands in the morning, by the way? We wash our hands to remove a certain impure spirit that takes over the body when our soul is gone. As soon as the soul leaves, something has to take up that vacuum. The soul vacates the body, something must take up that space. So some kind of impure spirits, they come and they're hosted in the body overnight until the soul comes back. So when the soul comes back, we want to wash that impure spirit off. We take a cup of water that has at least, has to have at least a revius, I think. I don't know how much a revius is, but it's not a lot. You can have like if you have like an 8-ounce cup, that's for sure a revius. It's for sure a revius, So, but you take a cup of water that has that much water, and then you pour water over your right hand, and then on your left, and you do 3 times on each hand, or 4 times on each hand if you want to be Kabbalistic. I think maybe it's to wash off the 3 times. I'm not sure why we do the 4th one, but you do it at least 3 times on each hand, rotating, right, left, right, left, right, left. We always start with the right. We even tie our shoes, put on your right shoe first. We tie the left shoe first because we want to honor the tefillin, which are tied on the left hand. But anyway, so what does the Jew do when he wakes up? Even before he washes his hands, he can't really do anything. He's not supposed to walk even 4 cubits. He's not supposed to say the name of God. He's not supposed to do anything really before you wash your hands. For sure not to touch an open orifice like an eye or a wound or a nose. You're not supposed to touch any entrances to your body, or for sure not to use the bathroom. You're not supposed to do anything before you wash your hands. But even before a Jew washes his hands in the morning, what does he do? He gives thanks. We say in the Hebrew, Modeh ani lefanecha. I am thankful, or I admit before you, Melech Chai v'Kayim, King, alive and existing, Shehechazarta bi nishmasi, that you returned within me, my soul, b'chemla, with compassion, Rab emunasecha, great is your faith in me, like your faith, your faithfulness, right? So that's the first thing a Jew does when he wakes up in the morning. What's the second thing? Washing the hands. After the Jew wakes up and he gives his thanks and he washes his hands, there's like different blessings he could say, He could say them at his house, he could say them in the synagogue. I think generally you would say it, it's really up to you. But other than that, I would say even before Moda'ani, before he even gives thanks in the morning, before he even does that, really, what's already obligated from him? In the code of Jewish law, we have a code of Jewish law that teaches you how to be a Jew. One of the first things it says is, I think the very first thing is it says, Yiskaber kari lavad isbari baboker, that you should strengthen yourself, wake up like a lion to serve your Creator. Wake up with a roar like a lion to serve your Creator. But I think it's right after that, on the same first page, I think, somewhere there. Shivisi Adonai lenegdi samid. I placed the Yud Hey and Vav Hey before me at all times. And I think that's a verse. I think it's a biblical verse. But it's also brought down in the Code of Jewish Law as a law. That a Jew constantly is placing before him the Yud Hey and the Vav Hey. Now, it can be a nice philosophical, theoretical idea, or even practical idea, but of I'm with Hashem. Yeah, I remember Hashem. But it's much more than that. It's very much understood that placing the Yud Hey and Vav Hey before your eyes at all times, should we say Adonai lenegdi samid, it's with your eyes. It's to see in your mind's eye constantly the four letters of Yud Hey and of Vav Hey, to see them constantly, to see those four letters. Why? We're very much influenced by what we see, whether it's in the mind's eye or in the physical. Even in the portion that we read from the Bible of the mitzvah, the commandment of tzitzit, the four-cornered fringed garment, it says also in there, you will see the tzitzit, the four-cornered fringed garment. You will see them, and you will remove sin from your heart. You won't sin. So we're very, very much impacted by what we see. So a Jew is always supposed to be able to see in his mind's eye these four letters of Yud Hey and Vav Hey, this name, Yud Hey and Vav Hey. And that comes back to what we were talking about, the importance of learning Hebrew, of knowing the Hebrew letters, knowing what they mean, and being able to meditate on the letters visually, but also intellectually. What does it mean? What does a Yud mean? What does a Hey mean? What does a Vav mean? What does a Hey mean? What do two of the letters together mean? What do the other two letters mean together? What does it mean when they're all together? What does three of them together mean? These three, those three. What do the combinations mean? And it's a whole different world. I think if someone were to just study the letters of Yud Hey and Vav Hey their entire life, for 70 years, 18 hours a day, they would still have more to learn. They would still have more to learn. And they would still have what to be entertained about through their thoughts of this deep studies. All right, L'chaim, may we all merit to truly love and understand, and thank you, Hashem.